it's Alyssa. For today's practice, we're going to focus on this beautiful quote by Ian Gardner. And the quote is, "Being still doesn't mean don't move. It means move in peace." And it reminds me a lot of kind of this space that we're in, right? Being in stay at home doesn't mean that we don't move, that we don't experience the world, that we don't share with each other. So that's where the inspiration for today's practice has come from. It's also founded in a special request that I got from a good friend of mine, Lynn. So hi Lynn, miss you. She's been doing a lot more walking lately, and because of that, her body's been experiencing some different feels. And I don't know about you, but the different types of movements I'm doing or not doing are causing my body to feel a little uncomfortable. So our practice is really going to be a bit more stretch focused, even though it is a foundations class. We're going to begin our practice with a breath pattern that was created by the Holistic Life Foundation, which is they call the stress breath. And it's a way to concentrate and focus our attention on the breath while releasing our stress, while dealing with our stress. So the first piece of it is understanding how we want you to breathe. So as you take an inhale, just breathe in through the nose, and as you exhale, open the mouth as if you were trying to fog up a mirror. So excellent. So belly breath in. So keep doing that. Breath in through the nose, breath out through the mouth. And so we're going to add, keep going, keep practicing, but we're going to add. So the next exhale, what I'd like you to do is keep that feeling, that fogging up the mirror feeling, but we're going to close our lips. And you're going to feel this breath tighten in the throat. You're going to feel it maybe even in the ears and the sinuses kind of reverberate there. So again, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, but feel the throat constrict. The breath should still be audible. All right, so keep practicing that as I explain the next piece. So the third part of this breath is the Jalandhara Bandha, which is also known as the throat lock. So we're going to take an inhale in, and we're going to kind of constrict the muscles in the neck by bringing the chin towards the chest and holding the breath there. So we're going to inhale for 3, chin lock, Jalandhara Bandha for 5, exhale for 5. One of the things we know about elongating our exhale is that triggers our parasympathetic nervous system. It tells the body to calm down. So we're elongating that exhale to tell the body to calm down. So we're going to put all of these pieces together. So roll the shoulders, sit nice and tall, relax the arms, take a big breath in, full breath out, and beginning our stress breath. We're going to inhale, 2, 3, chin lock for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, lift, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, hold the breath, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, chin lock, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, chin lock, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3. Hold the chin, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting, exhale, 2, 3, 4. Halfway there. Inhale, 2, 3, chin lock, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 2, 3, chin lock, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, chin lock, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more rounds. Inhale, 2, 3, chin lock, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Last round. Inhale, 2, 3, chin lock, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Full breath in. Long exhale out. Great job. So begin to transition and making your way into child's pose, shifting into balasana. So in child's pose, we bring the big toes together, knees wide, hips rock back towards the heels, arms reach long, forehead melts towards the earth. So if this is more than your lower back or your hips feel like doing this at this time, lay flat on the belly, stack the hands, rest the forehead on the hands. And that's our crocodile or makrasa. So pick the resting pose that feels right in your body. And remember, being still doesn't mean don't move. It means move in peace. So take a few gentle breaths. Let that practice of the stress breath kind of wash over you. Evaluate how you feel now. Gently slide the hands underneath the shoulders. Press yourself up into a tabletop position. And from that table, move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So tipping the pelvis forward, opening the chest to reach the crown of the head. Exhale, tuck the pelvis under, round the back, drop the head. So here's the key as a reminder to our cat-cow. We're not pushing and pulling through the rib cage. We're allowing the pelvis, the base of the spine, to tell the spine which way to go. So can you find that gentle movement back and forth? I'm going to go for 1 or 2 more rounds here. Keep that going. After your next rounded back cat, find a nice long spine. So when you find that length in the spine, shoulders away from the ears, crown of the head reaches forward, lift the belly button towards the spine. Press the base of the pointer finger and the base of the thumb into the floor and activate the shoulders, activate the chest. So feel that hug in feeling. The muscles are kind of hugging into the bones. And then walk the hands about 2 handprints in front of where they are under the shoulders. Tuck the toes under. Lift the knees and sink the hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Allow the heels to melt down towards the floor. Shoulders come down the back. Head rests. And yes, I know this is brutal first thing, but allow the left heel to melt and the right knee to bend. And hang out there for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, switch so the right heel melts and the left knee bends. And then do that a couple more times until your Achilles and your calves and the backs of the knees and the hamstrings feel like you can rest in your downward facing dog. Shoulders slide down the back. And then as you take your next inhale, roll yourself forward into plank. I promise this is just for a pause. And then lift the hips up and back. And from our downward facing dog, anchor down in that left foot, right leg rises into our 3-legged dog. And then cross the right ankle on top of the left behind, bringing the pinky toes towards each other. Tip the pelvis forward, sink the heels down. Yeah. Did you know that downward dog could be more fun? I just made it more fun. So from here, inhale, lift the right leg back up into the air. Right foot comes down to the ground. Anchor down that right foot, left leg rises. And then gently cross that left leg over so that the pinky toe edges of the feet come towards each other. Sink down into the heels, shoulders come down the back, and then gently straighten the legs as much as you feel comfortable. No rush here. And then inhale the left leg up into the air. Drop the toes back down to the ground. To release in the shoulders, either shift forward into table or into plank. Shoulders away from the ears, regardless of the pose. If you're in plank, lift the belly button towards the spine. Excellent. As you take an exhale, lift the hips up and back. So one more round of both of those. So anchor down the left leg, right leg lifts. Keep the hips square this time. So our natural inclination is we lift that right leg. To get a little higher, we start to stack the hips. Not what we're going for today. So keep the hips square, lift the heel as high as we can. Anchor down in that left heel, and then right leg crosses over. Ah, hamstrings. I know. I'm doing it with you. I feel it too. Right leg lifts back up into the air, square off the hips. Right leg comes down to the ground. Anchor down in that right foot, left leg rises. Keep the hips square. Breathe. Drop the right heel. Shoulders down the back. And then cross that left leg over the right. Pinkies come towards each other. And then drop the heels and straighten the legs as much as you comfortably can. And breathe. And then as you're ready, inhale, lift that left leg up into the air. Slowly lower it down. Drop the heels towards the ground. Soften the knees a whole bunch. Look up toward the fingers. Come up onto the tiptoes. And then as few steps as you can, walk the feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Heel toe the feet as wide as the mat. And then interlace opposite thumb and elbow crease. And then hang the head heavy. Like really completely ragdoll here. Find that gentleness. Nice. And then release the hands back down towards the floor. Heel toe the feet back to hip distance apart. Soften the knees a whole lot. Fingertips in touch with the floor for balance. Right leg steps all the way back to the ends of the mat. Right heel melts down, cartwheel up, warrior two. All right, so if you did the last video, pay attention to your stance. And if you didn't do the last video, go back to that last video, practice your warrior two. We'll wait for you. And then come back here. So from our warrior two, stack that left knee and ankle on top of each other. Hips are squared towards the long edge of the mat. We're pressing through the pinky toe edge, the knife edge of that right foot. Lift the back pelvis a little, lower the back of the pelvis, lift the front of the pelvis so that we're squaring the hips. Sink the hips a little lower, arms rise. Yeah, take a breath in. Inner thigh should be feeling some things. Inner thigh should be feeling some things. Shoulders relaxed, but should still be feeling some things. Take a big breath in and a long breath out. And then as you take your next inhale, straighten that left leg. We're going to take the left hand, make it to a letter C, and find that, hook it into the hip crease. So keeping the hips square to the right edge of the mat, we're going to hinge, we're going to hinge, we're going to hinge, we're going to hinge. Inner thigh, hand comes to the thigh, the shin, the ankle, or the outside of the left foot. I'm going to go ankle for here, right? So the first thing we're going to do, keeping that right hand on the hip, inhale, lift the right shoulder. Yeah. And as you lift the right shoulder, then lift the right ribs. Oh, very different experience. Your hamstrings, your inner thighs are going to talk to you. And then from there, inhale the right arm up and then overhead, like you're reaching for something important. And then bend the right elbow and pat yourself on the back. And I want you to think about reaching from the hip, through the waist and the rib cage, through the armpit, and out through that elbow. Yeah. And then as you inhale, use that side waist to lift a little bit so that weight on the hand gets really, really light. And as you take your next inhale, rotate those ribs once again. Pay attention there. Yeah. Take a breath in, big breath into those ribs. And then cartwheel yourself up and sink down into that warrior two. And then as we exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Uttanasana, forward fold. Shake the head side to side, arms hang heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. So same drama on the other side. Soften the knees, fingertips in touch with the floor. Left leg steps all the way back to the end of the mat. Drop that left heel. Sink into that front knee and cartwheel up into your warrior two. So the same thing with the hips. Our tendency is to tip forward. So lift the right pelvis, lower the left. Square those hips towards the left-hand side of the mat. Get that left knee directly on top of left ankle. And it's this even and opposite pressure front to back. You still want to feel the four corners of your right foot. All four corners of the left foot, but particularly that knife edge. And then with that length in the spine, lightly extend the arms. She says, making it sound so easy. Breathe. Yeah. All right, so here's where that triangle comes in. As you take an inhale, straighten the legs, make that letter C with the right hand, find that hip crease. So the left hip slides back as we slide ourselves into triangle. And then taking that right hand to the thigh, to the shin, to the ankle, to the floor. Again, I'm going to demonstrate from the ankle. So as you take your next inhale, left hand still on hip, lift the left shoulder, and then lift the left rib cage. Take a breath. And then as you inhale, reach the left arm up overhead, and then reach it away. So you're really finding length on that left-hand side. And then bend the elbow. Hand comes to the middle of the back. Or maybe to the head, right? Wherever you feel right. And then from this space, again, rotate the ribs up, rotate the chest up, maybe even look up towards the ceiling, finding this length from the hip, through the waist, through the armpit, and out the elbow. And use that side waist to make this bottom hand light. Take a breath. And then as you take your next inhale, bend into that right knee, warrior two. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Left foot steps forward to meet the right. Uttanasana, forward fold. So take a second to enjoy the juiciness of a forward fold. So shake your head side to side, no. Find the things that are comfortable. Breathe. Catch your breath. And remember that being still doesn't mean don't move. It means move in peace. So can this pose, this forward fold, become peaceful? As you take your next inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, hands in touch with the floor. Left foot steps all the way back to the end of the mat. Here's where that towel or washcloth will come in handy. So allow the left knee to come down to the floor. And again, remember the towel is totally optional. So then heel toe the right foot, one footprint out to the right, bring the right hand inside. So you've got a couple options. You can be flat on the hands, tented fingers, or fists. And wherever you are, reach the crown of the head forward. So it's our tendency to turtle in this pose, especially when we get lower. Our goal for today is to get that neck nice and long, reach the crown of the head forward. Do our best to keep that right knee stacked on top of our right ankle. Yeah. So finding that length And as you find that length, the left hip flexor is probably saying some pretty loud words right now. And let it, right? That's kind of the point of this whole thing. All right, so keeping that foot a little wider, that's going to give us a little bit of a wider, more stable base. So if you feel like this is your edge, you're going to stay right here. Otherwise, walk the hands up to that front thigh, lifting the ears, the shoulders, and the hips to stack. And then from there, before we go anywhere else, think about lifting the front of the pelvis, lengthening the lower back, and having the hip flexor yell at you a little bit more. Double check that front knee. Yeah, excellent. All right, so if this is your edge, totally stay here, right? Or, and this is where, if you have that strap, it can come in handy. You've got 4 options. Option 1, come back down to lizard. Option 2, stay right here. Option 3, we're going to bring the right elbow on top of the right thigh, open the right shoulder back, open the left shoulder, point the left toes towards the ceiling, and reach back for the foot, or loop the foot with your strap. All right? That's option number 3. Option number 4 is the opposite. So we're going to take that left elbow on top of the right leg, and then bend the left knee, and then use that strap in the right hand. Twist. Or there's a 5th option. No strap, with or without a strap. Bend the foot and hold on to the foot with both hands. Hip flexor, truly saying some words, but breathe. Now might be a really good time for that stress breath. And then release the foot. Don't let it slingshot. Let it gently release down to the floor. Bring the hands back to the floor. Tuck the toes under. Hover the knee. Allow the knee to come back down to the earth. Sink the hips back. Straighten the right leg. Press the heel down. Reach the crown of the head forward. Hinge forward. Justine, what would I do without you telling me which side is left or right? Just saying. I can't wait to get back into the studio with you guys. Keep me honest. Let that breath be steady. Yeah. How's that hamstring feeling now? Walk the hands slightly forward, bend the knee. This time, turn the toes out and then sink back into your hamstring stretch. You're going to feel this from the hamstring around to the hip. Keep the foot flexed. Inhale for length. Exhale, hinge forward. Ah, ah, ah. That's some fun right there. And then reach the toes back towards the ceiling. Bring the sole of the right foot to the floor, bending the right knee. Left foot steps forward to meet the right. Shake the head out. And feel a significant difference between your left-hand side and your right-hand side. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees. Hands in touch with the floor. Right foot steps all the way back to the end of the mat. Moving that blanket over if you need it. Right knee gently comes down to the ground. All right, so heel toe the left foot, 1 footprint out to the left. Hands, tented fingers or fists, reach the crown of the head forward. And breathe. And remember that this is a beautiful option. A beautiful option for you to stay rather than rise and do some of the crazier things that I have offered. Or maybe the crazier things are your edge today. So honor that for yourself. All right. So keeping that length. Yeah, neck comes nice and long. And then on your next inhale, walk the hands up to the left thigh, square the hips, lift the lower belly. Ooh. Yes. I know. Again, I'm doing this with you. All right, so remember, you've got all these options. So lizard, or stay here, or left elbow stacks on top of left leg, point the right toes towards the ceiling, reach back with the right hand, open the chest. Or perhaps, opposite side, right elbow, left hand clasps. Or perhaps, both hands. Great way to open up the chest, too. Should have demoed on this side first. This is my happier side. Take a long breath in. You got this. If you've got both hands, gentle, gentle, gentle. Release. Don't slingshot the foot. Comes back down to the ground. Bring the hands to the ground. Tuck the toes under. Lift the knee. Reset. Bring the knee back down to the floor. Rock the hips back over the knee. Straighten that left leg. Inhale for length. Exhale for depth. Breathe here. Yeah. Keep breathing. Nice and steady. All right, we're going to inhale, lift yourself forward, turn the toes out, and then sink down and back. Keep that left foot flexed. You're going to feel, again, that hamstring in a little bit of a different way. Breathe. So easy to forget, isn't it? Right? So easy to forget our breath. Bring the sole of the left foot to the floor. Rock yourself forward. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Get all your props and nonsense out of the way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. So we're going to come down to sit. So just gently lower yourself down to the ground. With a gentle cross leg, sit tall in the spine, reach the arms forward, hinge forward and reach, and then lift yourself up. Switch the cross of the legs, hinge forward and reach, and then lift yourself up. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor and lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. So from here, we're going to cross that right ankle on top of the left leg. A couple options here are, one, to just press the right thigh open with an open palm, to hover the left foot off of the floor, to interlace the hands behind that left thigh and press open with your forearm, or to add the straight left leg. So pick the option that feels most appropriate for you. Find some gentleness. Those long sighs just feel real calming. So if you have that left leg extended, put a bend back into that left knee. Bring the sole of the left foot to the floor. Before you uncross, press it to the sole of the left foot. Pick up the hips, shift them about 3 inches over to the right, and put them back down to the ground. Taking the arms either out to a T or into a goal post, gently allow the sole of the right foot to come down to the ground. Gentle, fun twist. A little bit of juiciness in the hips. Keep that breath going. I don't know about you, but I could stay here all day. Slowly lift the legs back to center. Press into the sole of the left foot. Bring the hips back to center. Bring the right knee into the chest. Either stay there or come into half happy baby just for a moment. So in happy baby, we bring the knee to the outside, the thigh to the outside of the rib cage, holding onto the sole of the foot or maybe just the big toes. And then release that right foot down to the floor. Crossing the left ankle on top of the right thigh, opening the leg, option to use the palm of the hand, or perhaps bring the knees in towards the chest, or interlace behind the thigh, or straighten the right leg towards the ceiling. breathe. Always coming back to the breath. The breath is this beautiful reminder that is with us 24/7 to relax. It's this beautiful bridge between our mental and emotional and physical well-being. Slowly bring the sole of the right foot back down to the earth. Press into the right foot, lift the hips 3 inches over to the left, put them back down, and then bring the sole of the left foot down to the ground. From there, press the shin into the right thigh and point the left knee up towards the ceiling. Arms are in that T or in the goalpost arms. And then as you feel ready, slowly lifting the knees back to center line. Press into the sole of the right foot, bring the hips back to center. And then uncross that left leg, perhaps just holding the knee into the chest or finding that half happy baby. Taking a few gentle breaths. And then releasing that left foot, taking any last movement that you need. So perhaps it's knocking the knees from side to side, or a bridge pose, or Supta Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together and the knees open. Take any last movement, and then when you're ready, extend the legs, relax the arms to the earth, and find your Shavasana. As you find these next few breaths in your Shavasana, let them help you find a little rest. Find ease. Being still doesn't mean don't move. It means move in peace. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.